You see, sometimes I make nursery beds for my farmers. There are those that have just taken seedlings they've gone to plant. I made the bed for them, and then they took the seedlings when they are ready to plant in the main garden. Now we asked about the farmers. Does he pay them monthly? How is that? They grow their own farms. They have their gardens, they grow in their gardens, then I will come and buy. So this is the bed, the nursery bed that is ready. There was another one that side, but they came and took all the seedlings to be planted. Now this nursery bed for hot pepper is ready to be for transplanting. This looks too mature. When you transplant it to the main garden, doesn't it die off? No, it does not die off. It just continues to grow when you transplant it. So you have to plant the nursery bed in a line, just like you can see here. You do not just scatter. Now if the plants in the nursery bed they've really overly grown, this is what you can do. As soon as you transplant it, trim it. As soon as you transplant it to in the main garden, trim it. You can uproot it, trim it like this, and then plant it. Now this is actually very good because as soon as it's planted, it starts to blossom again. So he's demonstrating to us what you can do to the plant when it has overly grown to give it a bit, to boost its growth in the garden again. You don't have to do this, but if you feel like they've really overgrown, you can do this. So as soon as these roots get firmly planted in the ground, it will produce more branches. The plant will produce more branches. Now I have some of my farmers who will tell me, oh, we have a place to grow but we do not have seedlings, and I'll give them the seedlings. Do you just give them the seedlings, or they buy these seedlings from you? Sometimes I sell to them, sometimes I just give them. This is how you prepare your nursery bed when you are planting it at the start. Before the shoots are out of the ground, you mulch it. This protects your seeds that you've just planted in the ground. When you water can be retained in the soil. The soil will not dry up so fast. So I mulch with dry grass, which helps to contain the water. When the shoots come out of the ground, then I will remove the mulch. After I remove the mulch, the nursery bed will start growing at a fast rate. You can construct the raised mulch and put on your dry grass on top, and then keep spraying with water depending on the nature and the weather. It's the same bed as you can see also this side. The bed is really big. It is occupying a bigger space. Now you see these seedlings, it rained, and the seeds, when it rained, the seeds got exposed. The soil that was covered on the seeds was removed by the rain. So we asked if they can still grow. He said no. If the seeds are exposed and they are not covered with soil, they will not grow. So he will come back, he will have to recover them again with soil so that they can grow. They are also planted in a line. Is there a way you can prepare your seeds before you plant them in the nursery bed, or you just plant them when you bring them from the socket? When you bring your seeds, you get a basin, pour in your seeds, then get Harvester XL and use one bottle top and pour in the basin, or you could say around 25 mils. Then you pour in the basin and add in water. You can add in about 1 liter of water. Then you make sure that your seeds are fully immersed in the water. This is if your seedlings are like half a kg, that's about 1 cup. Now these are for seedlings which are about half a kg. Just make sure they are fully immersed in that water. The seeds that come on top, just remove them. Just know those are bad, they will not grow. If you put them in this morning, leave them throughout the night until the next morning. That's when you remove them. There they will be fully immersed in water, and also the medicine will be they'll be fully immersed in the medication too. They are your immunizing diseases. That is you immunizing in the seed form before you go to plant. You can, after you remove them from the water the next morning, you can spray them. Just make sure they are dry. They are dry so that you can separate them one by one before you plant them. There are some people who ask whether they can use ash to immunize their seeds. before planting. Using ash may not be the best thing to do. Ash is used when you don't have the medication to use, but it does not work as well as the medication. You can spread them on a sack after removing them from the water the next morning to allow them to get drenched so that they can dry off. All you're looking for is them to be able to be separated, not sticking to each other. To remove them nicely, you can get that sack and then pour the whole mixture on top of the sack, which will drain the water out and leaving your seeds on top. Then after that you can spread them on that sack and then just give them exposure to sunlight just for a little bit. And when you realize that you can put them together without them sticking to each other, they can easily spread one by one. Then you can go and plant your bed. Now we asked him if after putting the seeds in the bed, does he still spray more medication in the bed? It would be good for you to protect your nursery bed from insects so that these insects do not come and eat your seeds. You may sprinkle the powdered medication after planting your seeds in the bed. You can use powdered chemicals like 7 dust. Do you know, if you know it, 7 dust? It will work very well. After the shoots are out of the ground, then you start to spray. You can spray Harvester XL and treat them that way. Manage them like that. You may spray after every 2 weeks. That will be enough amount of medication. So when you do that, by the time you transplant to the main garden, they will have received medication that will protect them in the garden. And then you also have less diseases to deal with. We asked how long does the bed take to mature. If it's a rainy season, the bed will grow in 1.5 months.